What could possibly be prettier than a perfect autumn tree? Look at the color in that. See? Death isn't necessarily ugly. It could be full of brightness. That is just gorgeous. Look at all that color. Hello, my favorite friends. Today I am showing you my tree that I trimmed down. It was really cute about a month ago. And since I wanted to show you that, I figured I might as well make it worth it and add it to my pruning video, which I did not take a video of. I just took pictures because the angles were going to be weird and the phone was going to be in the way. So I didn't want to keep stepping over my phone, and just for time, because this is hard work. It's tiring. It's tiring work. I just didn't want to have to deal with camera in the way. Now I'm going to be trying to thin out the tree, and there's 4 different types of pruning. There's thinning, there's heading back, cutting back, pincing, and shearing. In these pictures you can see how there's just a lot of little branches, and there's just way too much leaves on there to actually let light come in, which is also bad because it takes a lot of water and energy to sustain these leaves. So there's got to be a balance between the amount of leaves and light that is hitting them and how much energy the tree is taking to sustain them. And this is up close and personal of just the mess that I had to deal with of getting the tree trimmer up there, which I borrowed from my neighbor. Thank you. He's always like the neighborhood superhero with tools. So like I said, I'm thinning out the tree, which basically means that you're trying to keep the shape, but you're just removing about 30% of what's on there. And the only recommendation I have is to just take it one branch at a time. Look at one of these thick branches, decide what is dead, and take that off first, because I'm not sure if when you take off something that's already dead, if that still counts as thinning, or if thinning is when you take off certain live branches. On some of them I took off way more than 30%, but I think it's the tree in general that matters about the 30%, but still, I took it one branch at a time, decided what I was keeping, and then took 30% off of that. Once again, there's a lot of little branches here that are dried out, and it's weird because they're like popcorned out. That's the only way I could describe it. There's one here right more or less in the middle that you can see is almost flat versus all the other ones that are nice and round. But once again, there's tons of just little twigs where the tree trimmer would get stuck. So I started from the lowest branch. I decided what I was going to keep on that branch, and I started cutting away to all the stuff that I didn't want. Things that I did not keep on a branch were branches that were facing back towards the tree, branches that were obviously dry, and then branches that are overlapping each other. There's a picture of one of those situations coming up. But I mean, like, so that's a basic of what you can look for on a branch. in case you're like wondering, okay, well, this tree is too much, it needs to be handled, what should I take off, what should I leave on? That could give you a few ideas. And then once you look at that branch, you step back, you look at the branch and be like, okay, this looks like I've only taken off 10% or 20, remove one or two more branches, because it's kind of hard to look at something and be like, yes, that's 30%. You know, another thing that you could look for, if you know, you see a cluster of branches and you're like, okay, 1, 2, 3, that one goes, 1, 2, 3, that one goes, and then the third one you're looking at hopefully is the ugly one or the dry one or the one facing back towards the tree. That's hopefully will give you some sort of guideline to, you know, pick out 30%. Why 30%? I don't know. That's just what it says in the book, so that's what I'm following. So here you have a picture of a few things going on, really. So here's another branch that's really flat, and I think the reason why they're flat like this, or popcorned as I like to call them, is because there's not enough water to sustain these little branches coming up. And because that original bark branch is still healthy, it's trying to produce a new one. But what I did here is I cut off the little branch and then the dried out branch, and I left the new one hanging out. So it's just, you know, one of the situations where it's like, yeah, you're only supposed to cut one out of the 3, but I decided to get rid of 2. And the bottom one, also you can see where it's popcorning, but I think that one was still okay. And there's a big one in the background where it's definitely popcorn. That whole thing went. That is the tree trimmer. Oh, here's a game. Let's play Find the Aggressive Hummingbird. This took 2 days because my neck got tired on the first day, and I was like, nah. And this is the second day. The second day obviously was a little bit more clear, and the hummingbirds were a little hungry. Well, the one. And I kept trying to figure out what was going on. So I know it's in this picture somewhere, I just don't know where. There's another picture where I did find it. So if you can find it in this picture, good for you. If not, join the club. But you can see just how tangled the tree trimmer would get with all those branches in the way. So it's better to start from the bottom and work your way up for many reasons, but the number one reason is just so you could have space to reach up there. Also, when I was cutting, especially when there were like thinner branches and they were hanging off of also another thin branch, I don't want to cut off the whole cluster of them. So I would push the blade, like because of the teeth, it would catch it. So I was able to push inward and up, but I wouldn't cut down. So I wouldn't pull it down and cut and then like, you know, like a whole saw action. I would just push up, so that way the branch that I didn't want off wouldn't accidentally break off, which that did happen like 2 times, but you know, no big deal. I can't see it right now. I know I did see it earlier, but because I was up there disturbing the tree and there was like a lot of birds, I was introducing new seeds and new feed to this tree, so a lot of birds were coming there, and this hummingbird was just very curious of what is going on, what are you doing near my syrup. I would, you know, just kind of leave the thing every time it would come by, because it would fly away. I would just stop and let it see that I wasn't going to attack it, and this tree isn't dangerous, so if it did want to nest there or keep feeding there, it didn't have to be fearful of anything. But it would just come up close and be like, oh, what are you doing? Go away. Now.
Look at it. Look at it. Don't look at the sun, but look at it. Nice and empty. You will notice that at the very top, there's a whole lot more branches that I didn't take off. I mean, it's hard. I'm tired. And that's where the top of the tree is at, so that's where more leaves are gonna come out from. So, you know, I'd rather take off more down here. Down here than up there.